Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to my daily insight, my thought for the day, my guidepost, my signpost, my little bit of inspiration at the beginning of the day. I hope what I have to say today inspires you. It's based on the 51st verse of the Tao Te Ching. It's a poem that I wrote back in July 2019, and I've called it Hidden Virtue. Springing into existence, life emerges from source. Individuality beckoned. This life wasn't forced. Springing forth soul and conscious, as perfect as it's free, was how all of us began, including you and me. Unfolding into existence, to be completed is the way, valuing sources, treasures, with each passing day. Worship not commanded, but spontaneously, as if by design, the way is always followed, as a leader so benign. Its hidden virtue nourished, from the cradle to the grave, source produced, didn't possess all the life it gave. There is an ego thing where the possession of money or things or time just for ourselves seems to be the order of the day. If we can be in charge of whatever it is, time, the money, the power, if we can be in control, ego feels completely satisfied, or does it? But this isn't the way of the Tao. The Tao is also the way, and it is the way to live. And it's saying in verse 51, that isn't how things are. Things aren't structured in an egotistical way within the universe. The way that the Tao works is completely the opposite. And so each one of us springs into existence. There's no sort of forcing an individual to come to birth. There's no spiritually forcing someone to take on flesh. It's something that is emerging, it's unfolding, it's the most natural thing to do, to come to birth, to be here on planet Earth, you and me. And we're in this unconscious state. We just know that that's how it's supposed to be, so we show up. And that perfection is freedom. The freedom to be able to exist, to express oneself. And that's how we all began. So as we unfold into this human existence, we value the treasures of the source from which we originate. It's obvious that we're grateful on a spiritual level. If we take time out of our ego-driven reality, isn't it great just to be alive? That's just how it feels. And the way the source energy does not demand our worship, but spontaneously, you can't help it. Look at this beautiful scenery behind me. I try and find the most beautiful pictures to show you. This was taken on Friday evening, and the sun's going down, and just a very beautiful setting to go and have something to eat just outside a local restaurant pub. And this virtuous and yet hidden way to do things, all the way from the cradle to the grave, from being born to dying. We, as expressions of source energy, have existed and continue to exist to express the beauty of source in our personalities, in our spirits, in our expression of life. And we can't but help just existing, just being, just what we were talking about last time I was doing one of these thoughts for the day. Just being who we are is enough to be a blessing to source energy and to our fellow human beings. It's only when the ego gets involved, when we're hell-bent, as people use as an expression, don't they, on being something, doing something, engineering something into existence, that we find ourselves at odds with the unfolding, flowing nature of things. A tree doesn't have to force itself into budding or growing leaves. It just happens. It might take a little while. There's some trees with buds on them, some with leaves on them just now, early spring, and that's just the natural scheme of things. Allow yourself the time to become who you were meant to be, and that is a hidden virtue. That's what I call the poem. It's a hidden virtue of, you weren't forced to be here, you just unfolded, you just became, because it seemed the most appropriate thing, the most natural thing to do. And you're not being forced into doing anything while you're here. There is a peace in the surrender to what is, just to express yourself on a daily basis, like I do here. I just get in front of the camera and say what comes to mind as I read through this poetry that I've written. So I'm going to read my poem again. I'm going to close the broadcast. I hope you have a lovely day today, and I shall be with you again Thursday morning. Hidden virtue. Springing into existence, life emerges from source. Individuality beckoned, this life wasn't forced. Springing forth, soul and conscious, as perfect as it's free, was how all of us began, including you and me. Unfolding into existence, to be completed is the way, valuing source's treasures with each passing day. Worship not commanded, but spontaneously, as if by design, the way is always followed as a leader so benign. Its hidden virtue nourished, from the cradle to the grave, source produced, didn't possess all the life it gave. Namaste.